Hey folks, David here with Filipino wife, American husband, a couple's story. Today I just want to share with you a little bit about why we went ahead and had my beautiful Filipino wife become a U.S. citizen. And then I'll try to give you some details about it, which might help you with the process. So from our perspective, some of the important reasons why we went ahead and had her become a U.S. citizen is one, is the U.S. passport that she now has allows her to travel freely in so many more countries than her Filipino passport would. The Filipino passport is only readily accepted, I think, in 9 or 11 countries. Some of those are like South American countries. Now, if they have a work visa, that's a different story. But just a tourist travel visa, the Filipino passport really can't go too many places. And we actually like to travel and like to do things. And I thought, for the ease of getting back into the United States, which we all know now is not the easiest thing to do, then her having her U.S. citizenship and a U.S. passport would be the best and the smartest things for us. So that's one of the bigger things. Another thing is, since she's now a U.S. citizen, then of course she has all rights to any and all benefits and services deemed for U.S. citizens, which is important. So Social Security down the road will be easier for her to attain. Death benefits in my case, things of those natures, bank accounts that are in both of our names. But since she's a citizen, I know for sure that the banks won't give her any hassles about trying to claim those benefits, whether she's in the United States or whether she's actually back in the Philippines. So she has access and those rights to those as a citizen. The other thing that can be done is she can now just become a dual citizen of the Philippines. So she'll be a U.S. citizen and she'll become a citizen of the Philippines again. When we go back there, she'll start that process. It's not a real difficult process, but what that will allow us to do is if we want to go to the Philippines for an extended stay, which we may do, versus just a short vacation like we're getting ready to do, then we can go back on and I know I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong because I always do, what they call the Bali Bayak visa, which means a Filipino citizen who's married to a foreign spouse. The foreign spouse was allowed back into the country for up to a year without any special conditions. Versus if I go over as a tourist, I'm only allowed to stay about 28 days. And then I got to either renew, rescind, or leave the country. So just keep that in mind. Convenience and ease for us. Now, a couple tips on the citizen process that we went through that I'll share with you. One, it's actually pretty easy. We use the USGS.gov website, the immigration website. Remember, the real government website for citizenship is going to end in .gov. So you don't need to use any services, any agencies, any other weird websites. Just go to the actual immigration.gov website and everything's there. Every tip you need, every cheat sheet you need, the electronic forms, it's all there. You fill it all out on their website. And for us, it worked really, really easy and really well. I was shocked that a government website actually, functioned, but actually functioned very well. You got to have all your documentations, just like when you brought her here. You got to have copies of your joint bank accounts. You got to be able to prove that you guys are married in good standing, that you have joint assets together. We submitted things like copies of our car titles with both of our names on it, house documents, bills, tax returns. Oh my gosh, just all kinds of things. Remember, in another video I told you, it's crucial when you're doing things like this that you document everything. Documentation, documentation, documentation. If you didn't document it, it didn't happen, period. And when you're dealing with important things like visas, green cards, and passports and things, you just want to make sure that you do it right the first time. So that's what we did. I think the fee was $800. It took 6 months for her to get approved for her citizenship. Now, there's a couple basic requirements, and you'll see all of this on the website. But for us, since she was married to an American citizen, she only had to be in the United States 3 years. That's one way you can apply. So be married to a U.S. citizen, live in the United States for 3 years. Another way is to be here 5 years, and then you can apply also. And there's some other criteria. You got to be 18 years of age or older. You know, you can't have any criminal court cases pending. So you have to be what we hope is a good citizen. So there's a lot of little things like that, and there's plenty of cheap sheets on the internet to help you with that. On the .gov website, it's all spelled out. There's videos on there. There's also a whole list of all the questions that they will want you to know about becoming a citizen. So the interesting thing about that is there's like a possibility of 100 questions, but they're only going to ask you 10 questions in the interview. And then what my wife said was, since she got the first 6 right, they stop asking her, because all you need to pass the interview is 60%. So 6 out of the 10 right, you're done. As soon as you get the 6 right, they stop asking you. And it's real basic things. How many senators do you have? You know, who was Martin Luther King? What did he do? All these different things about civil rights and about the Bill of Rights, about the Constitution. You know, just basic, you know, government, like 8th grade government stuff. So that's fairly easy, and Lorelai did really, really well with it. There are tutorials on that where you literally can just click and go through the questions one after one. On a funny note, I'm a retired college professor, and so I wanted to teach my beautiful wife everything there was to know about that question. But Lorelai would have, you know, preferred me just to help her with the answers so she could remember the answers. I wanted to give her the backstory, who Martin Luther King was and his whole entire history and all this good stuff. But so word of advice, don't do that unless your wife just wants it. But, you know, so keep her happy. So we got that done. 6 months. Now, we live in Arkansas, the beautiful state of Arkansas, and we live in the northwest part, and so we had to drive about an hour and 10 minutes to get to our local immigration office down in Fort Smith, Arkansas. We had to go, when you submit your paperwork, the government takes it, you know, they look it over. Then they get back to you and say, hey, you need to come down and do a biometrics. You go down to Fort Smith, and they basically take your picture and your fingerprints and those things. Then you're done. And then you wait. Well, and you wait. And then they call you or send you an email, or you look it up online on your case, and you log in and see your status. And they tell you when your interview is. Hers was within the 6 months. It went really shockingly fast. And but then again, like I said, and I think this is crucial, get your ducks in a row. Make sure you have no reason for the government or any immigration person or anybody in the office to throw a red flag. To go, well, I need more information, or I don't believe this doesn't seem right, there's not enough information. So overwhelm them with good, positive information. And we did that. So we went down for the interview, and of course, Lorelai dressed up very professionally, because part of what you want to do is take this process seriously. And her interview lasted just a few minutes. I mean, we were there. I couldn't go in, but she went in by herself and did the thing and did well. And they came back immediately and told her that she will be getting a notification when her ceremony will be, the swearing-in ceremony would be. Now, on the internet, it told her it could be, you know, another 3 to 4 months before that happens. Well, the guy said, look, you're not going to have any problems. Somebody will get hold of you in the next couple of weeks to tell you when to come back for the ceremony. And that happened. We actually got a call, and her ceremony was, I think 3 weeks later, 21 days, which we thought was really fast. Happy about it, but very fast. So we went back to Fort Smith, and we had some friends accompany us. One thing I'll tell you to do is, this is a very cool ceremony. As an American, we probably take for granted, some things. And that day there was, I think, roughly 40 people being sworn in. There was 11 different countries. I think there was 3 from the Philippines, so that kind of made Lorelei feel good. And it was a very patriotic event, very nice. And you can video it and take pictures, and we took a whole bunch of pictures of Lorelei by the flags and the posters, and then of her with her citizen documentation and all this good stuff. So we did that. But we dressed up for it because we wanted to show respect not only to the other people becoming citizens, but just to our country and our local office and the people that work there. I think that was good. So I highly recommend that you take it seriously. You think about maybe in the concept of you're doing business, you're doing serious business, or you're going to church. Maybe that's a way to look at it. There were people there that were dressed in crappy shorts and crappy flip-flops, and I feel bad for them, and I feel bad for the people they were there to watch to become citizens, because, they were very happy to become citizens. They were excited. Those people attending that and swearing in a pledging their oath to the United States were very happy, very excited. This was a big deal for them. So keep that in mind for your spouse or whoever you're going to be with when it comes to that. After that, it didn't last very long. I think it was 20 minutes long. She gets her paper, her certificate of citizenship, and they tell us to make sure you guard that with your life. It's expensive to replace. It's like $500 if you lose it. So you got to make sure you keep that. We made some copies of it. We also immediately came back and went to get her new passport, which was quite easily. We went up to our local courthouse versus the post office. At the post office, you had to have an appointment. We didn't have one. The post office told us just go over to the courthouse and go to the records division, and we did. A brand new passport here cost us, I think it was $155. $55 for this, $100 for that. And, they did all of it right there. And we were shocked that once again, we got her passport within 21 days. They had a calendar on the wall telling us that it was going to be about 6 weeks. They have a time calendar saying estimated date of arrival of your passport would be, and ours came in 21 days versus 6 weeks. So we were real happy about that. Made it easy, real easy to deal with. They do take or at least for us, they took her citizenship credential, and they sent it back to us, but they did have to have the original, which kind of, stressed us out a tiny bit because, $500 if we lose it, and we didn't want to lose it. But it did come back to us separate. The passport folks said, look, we're not going to mail them the passport and this very important document back together in case somebody steals one or the other. So they do mail them separately. And then the other thing we did is we went down and after we got her passport, on the advice of the immigration office in Fort Smith, we also went to Social Security. I think it was 6 weeks later. We waited. We gave the immigration office plenty of time to get the paperwork submitted and to put into place. But we went down to Social Security and confirmed with them that Lorelei now was a U.S. citizen, not a permanent resident. And that makes a difference. And so we did that. We didn't have to get a new Social Security card or anything. We just wanted it to be noted in the Social Security office computer. So we did all of that. So overall, pretty simple. Those are the reasons that we did it. We hope, you know, everybody else won't have any troubles. Like, you know, we didn't have any. We thought the process was very smooth and very easygoing. So that's kind of my take on the whole passport issue and why she became a U.S. citizen. So, all right, everybody, enjoy the day. Subscribe to the channel, and we will talk to you folks soon. Take care. Bye bye.